Commissioner Miles is excused tonight, and we've got everyone else in attendance. We're going to go ahead and let Sarah take over for a minute for an item that is... We're going to wait patiently for Sarah.
Okay. While we're figuring this out, I want to introduce Katie Olson. So you all know that Ken retired in January, and his position was Community Development Director. That position got upgraded to Assistant City Manager. So we now have 2 Assistant City Managers. Mark really needed some help. So Owen and Katie now are both Assistant City Managers. And they'll be doing different duties than what Ken was doing. So Ken's duties got split up, and so Katie will be doing some of those in addition to more. And she's here tonight. She won't be coming every night, but she's here tonight, and we wanted to introduce her.
Great, thank you, and welcome to the staff. We've got really amazing staff here, and so I am sure you'll continue that on. And we'll go ahead and move to public input. This time has been set aside for the public to express ideas, concerns, and comments for subject matter not listed as public hearing on the agenda. Limit of 3 minutes per speaker. Unused time may not be given to another. Time for public input is limited to no more than 15 minutes total. Go ahead and invite anyone who'd like to make a public comment to the podium. Seeing none, we'll close public input and move to business items. The Commission will discuss without public comment and may either make a recommendation to the City Council or approve the following items as needed. First, Mount Saratoga Veterinary Clinic, preliminary plat located at 30 North Mount Saratoga Boulevard. Daniel Harris as applicant and Senior Planner Kendall Black.
And I will be presenting that on behalf of Kendall Black. We are just having a struggle with our laptops. So give me about another minute and I think I'll be able to share my screen. Thanks for your patience. So this application is a veterinary clinic located at the south entrance to Mount Saratoga at approximately 30 North Mount Saratoga Boulevard in the planned community zone, which also has a gateway overlay on it. You'll see the site here, so north is at the top of the page. The star indicates the subject site. It is surrounded by common area open space on all sides, so there's no need for cross connection as you would just be connecting to open space. It meets all of the criteria listed in the code. You guys saw this last time. We had the site plan for you last time and the preliminary plat, but we hadn't noticed the plat. So this is just the plat that you're seeing. So this does look familiar because you already saw it. This is what the site will look like, even though you're not recommending on the site plan because you already did that. And then the landscape plan, elevations, and all the other details, and staff recommends approval based on the findings and conditions. Please let us know if you have any questions. And the applicant is here as well. Could you come up? And you'll want to push the button.
All right, you can all hear me? Good evening, my name is Dan Harris with 814 Development. Our address is 1695 12 Mile Road, Suite 100 in Berkeley, Michigan. I appreciate the time to present our plat to you this evening. I know that we all talked about the site plan 2 weeks ago. So if there are any additional questions, I'd be more than happy to answer them. But plats are a little bit pretty straightforward, so I don't have much to add to the plat.
Go ahead, Commissioner Roman.
I don't know if this was discussed before, but have you initiated talks with the HOA regarding the stormwater?
Yes, we have. We've coordinated with city staff and the HOA, so we understand what the staff needs from us to, because they have an easement over that common area, because it serves as a detention pond as well. So we've coordinated with staff on that end, and then we've also been in talks with the HOA, so we're actually preparing the easement right now. We just received our exhibits from our surveyor for the meets and bounds and the sketch, so that's all being compiled and sent over to the HOA's attorney here probably next week.
Okay, thank you.
Commissioner Rather. Oh, you're. Okay. I thought I was running
Sure.
off this. Commissioner Hill?
Just two things. There were two shall comply, and I think we've addressed both of those, the drainage across property lines, and then, the standard plat format, and we're doing that. The other question that I have is, that is a drainage field for Edge down there. You're at a higher level, and I've not seen that drainage field be used very much, maybe one time in 4 years. Any concerns with the delineation and the elevation and any, I'm gonna say something, but kind of like the 100-year flood plan. Any concerns with that? And Sarah, if, that might be staff, but those were the things that came to my mind.
Yes, our engineers do look at that. They do have to meet all of the engineering standards and criteria and release rate and max fill for the ponds. They do have to meet all of those engineering requirements.
Okay.
And if
Thank
I
you.
could add, so our engineering consultants, LEI, they also have done all the work in that village plan. So they're very familiar with that pond. They've already done the analysis for the stormwater report stating that, there's no concerns with capacity. So I would say that because usually you have your freeboard elevation is below the berms or the top of the slopes there, that we wouldn't have a concern about flooding onto our site there. We're pretty well built up. I'm not sure
Right.
if you've
You're right.
gone over there, but yeah, we'll have some retaining walls that hold us back, and
Good.
we should be protected.
Well, as we mentioned 2 weeks ago, or at least I mentioned, I'm very, I have a positive feeling on the building, how it's set. The landscaping, I think, is going to even fill in that corner so much better than what we've got. We've just got grass, and now we're gonna have trees, and we're gonna have vegetation, and the building, I think, blends with the color palette that's being used. So again, thank you, and it's good to see you again, and get this thing up and going.
Thank you.
Is this a corporate-owned building, or is this a local vet that's building this out?
So I'll say it's a regional vet clinic. They are predominantly they started in Arizona, Phoenix area. They are expanding into Utah and then also Idaho. But it's not a national brand. It's just, I'll say it's a regional specific brand.
And do you represent the owner there at all, or the
So I'm on the landowner's side and the developer's side. The tenant, we don't do the actual operations of the building. But if there are any tenant questions, I may be able to answer them. I speak with them often, so.
do you know about how many buildings or locations they have?
In total?
Mm-hmm.
That's a great question. I want to say that they have 3 existing in Arizona. We've probably developed, we've developed about 7 in Utah. Idaho's probably got 4.
Okay.
And then Arizona's probably got another 2 or 3.
Do you know about how long it takes to get the clinic up and operating once everything is ready?
So we do our best to coordinate with them so that way as soon as we have our C of O, they're ready to take, I won't say ownership, but take tenancy of the building. From there, we just finished our first one. I know that they're already operating. We finished that in, to give you around a ballpark, I'll say within 3 months. But it doesn't take long. It doesn't sit.
Okay.
I don't want to say vacant because it's not vacant, but
Mhm.
getting going.
About how many years has this regional corporation been opening vet clinics for?
We've been working with them for the past 2 years.
Okay.
Before that, I'm not sure when they actually opened their first one.
Okay. All right, that's about it for me then. Any other commissioner comment? Okay, all right, I will entertain a motion.
Thank you.
I'll go ahead and I move that the Planning Commission forward a recommendation for approval of the requested preliminary plat for the Mount Saratoga Veterinarian Clinic located at 30 North Mount Saratoga Road with the findings and conditions in the staff report.
Thank you, Commissioner Hill. Do we have a second on the motion?
I'll second that.
Thank you, Commissioner Wilden. Any questions on the motion? Hearing none, we'll now vote. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? And that passes unanimously. We'll move to item number 2, the Winco Food Site Plan located at 353 West Lake Drive. The applicant, Senior Planner Austin Roy.
Thank you, Planning Commission. All right, so this is the Winco site plan. It's located just west of the Home Depot, so if you're familiar with that area, address again is 353 West Lake Drive. Project is on 9.33 acres. You can see the location here on the map. Doing a code review, they complied with all of our codes. There was one code that is a shall comply, which is a landscaping. So they're showing 9% landscaping on their plan. Our code does require 20%. However, they are going to be doing that landscaping with the rest of the development over there on other phases, on other projects. And so I'll explain about that more in just a moment. This is the site plan, so you can see what that looks like. You have the building here, and then you have the parking lot. The building is, let me see, 84,000 square feet, and with a height of 45 feet. And you can see here is the landscape plan, which does comply with our code. And so more on the landscaping, here we go. So the developer here, WPI, has stated that 43,000 square feet of off-site landscaping will be dedicated for lot 714 with the future phase. So we have this document from the developer on behalf of Winco. So that's kind of the one condition. Everything else meets the code. Here's the elevations that you can see. So this is what it looks like from the north. This is what it looks like from the south. And then you can see these are just more two-dimensional elevations. This is the floor plan. And these are the recommended motions. Do you have any questions?
Do we want to allow the applicant to?
Yeah, do
join
we
us
have the
there?
applicant? Yeah.
You can just state your name and address for the record, please.
Good evening. It is Lee Lozano.
Thank you, sorry.
That's okay. I'm with Peterson Estates Architects. I'm a principal architect there out of Boise, Idaho. And I did notice on here it stated that I was representing WPI, who is the developer, which is an error. I am representing Winco on behalf of Winco, so just a correction on that. And, yeah, if you have any questions for me, please let me know. We've gone through the concept application process. This is the site plan application process. And I did want to add on that landscape. So the developer, WPI, is doing that entire Plat G development there. And all those parcels, including Winco's parcel, as a collective whole, they've broken out a 20% minimum at each parcel, but used it as a conglomerate of all the parcels together. So in order to get that through, we did ask that WPI
We'll go ahead and open for commissioner comment. Any commissioner comment tonight? Commissioner Hill?
Thank you, and Austin, thank you for the write-up. It's a big project in a lot of detail. The first thing that I have is the building has a 84,000 square foot footprint. How does that compare to the average size? Because I've seen Wincos, depending when they were built, and I've seen a lot that have added on. So how does that compare, the size of this store compared to the average?
So the way Winco does that is it's a criteria footprint. The floor plan doesn't change much in terms of new stores. They do have existing stores where they have added on, depending on whether or not they're allowed that allowable area increase. But the 84,000 is typical for all new Winco stores, so. Testing. Hey, there you go. Anyways, back to that criteria. It's an 84,000 square foot footprint, and it's pretty typical for all their new stores. Case in point, the latest we did 5 years ago is in Harriman. That's also 84,000 square feet. We are currently under construction for one down in Washington City, and that is also, it's essentially the same footprint. Every now and then the operations will change on the interior depending on how they want their layouts, but for the most part, it doesn't change much. Our job is to get it through entitlements, code compliance, and elevations, landscape, things like that. So it's pretty typical at 84,000 square feet, yes.
Well, I know many people are looking forward to you
Oh,
coming
good.
into town, okay?
We are looking forward to getting it through.
Yep.
We started this back in October, so.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Just a couple of other questions. We've talked about the landscaping. Austin, was there something that talked a little bit about the fencing or with a retention wall, or was that just the standard codes?
I think that was just the standard code. So there is a retention pond to the south, which would be on the left of the screen here.
Okay,
The only fencing requirement would be, there's gonna be some MF14 apartments, and we do require a screening typically between commercial and residential.
where is that going to be located on this landscape map, or?
Yeah, so it'd be kind of up to the top left is kind of where that
Okay.
would be, yeah.
Okay.
But it's not immediately adjacent, and you have 400 West, which is, kind of separates that area from the Winco site itself, which,
Okay.
and 400 West is on the top of the screen there, that you can see.
And then I saw that there was a shall comply with signage, which will be brought back to us for the final review.
That's correct, yeah. With this application, we didn't see an actual site plan, and we always require a site and plan application separately, which has a separate permit approval process that's just approved by staff, at a staff level. But you can see the signage here
Right.
on the elevations. It appears, at a glance to meet our code, but they will have to go through that sign plan approval process.
Yeah, I love the color scheme, and I think that's going to fit very well in that area. All the questions I had, thank you, Chair.
Thank you. Any other? Okay, so before I make my comment, I do just want to state that I created the very first Bring Winco to Saratoga Springs Facebook page.
Oh,
So
you did?
I will
Okay,
say I am very much in favor.
good. Oh, well, they'll be happy to hear that.
Yeah.
They're a fast-growing company. I mean, we are one of 3 local architects in Boise that do their work, and we are pretty well booked for the next few years. I mean, we've got 2 more coming in Utah. There's one in construction in Rexburg, Idaho, one under construction in Butte, Montana, Walla Walla. We've got another one coming in Cedar City, I think it is. That's south of here, right? There's one in Cedar City coming, and then another one in the greater Salt Lake area. They're looking at a piece of property right now. So they're growing pretty fast. And then 3 in California as well. All new stores under construction right now. So we need to catch up.
Excellent. So with that said, I do want you to be here, but I've got some questions about this landscaping thing. Is this normal to parse out this landscaping and allow a 9% on this project and 20% overall?
Yeah, it's not something that's, I mean, it's not typical. Normally, you'd come in with the site plan and everything's on the site itself. This is kind of a unique situation because it is part of a larger development with other commercial projects and other moving pieces. So, and with the detention pond to the south, which is, would count for a lot of that, you know, it's unique, I would say. So,
If I could add to that, if
Yeah.
I may, I'm sorry. So when WPI submitted their Plat G documents, which again is all of those parcels to the west, our parcel and then the south parcel, part of their agreement was to ensure that all those parcels would meet this, you know, this percentage agreement and have it allocated to each parcel in order to make it work. You know, for a parcel like Winco, it's obviously 80% parking, right? A lot of it's hardscape. So, you know, it would be a challenge to meet that requirement. So this, for us personally, it's not the first time we've done this, you know, and I'm in collaboration with another developer to meet, you know, those type of requirements. So it was something that they had to have as a condition as part of their Plat G approval documents, which were approved in July of last year, I believe. So they're already under construction right now, so.
Okay, so the way our city code is written though, does this allowable within the way the city code is actually written?
So community plans can be done differently, and so it depends on the specifications in the community plan, which is why it would be allowed in this situation.
Okay,
yeah, I mean.
So standard Title 19 wouldn't allow that. It has to be contained within the site. In this case, they do have the detention basin right there, which can count, which is counting as open space. And the development agreement as a whole, they're required 30% open space. I think they have 32 to 34 overall, so they have an extra within the community overall.
yeah, I mean, I understand there's some other factors at play here. The way I kind of, when I was reading this and looking at it, the way I was understanding it is that, or the idea of having the open space per parcel is that we have each parcel has, you know, landscaping that is attractive and that is, you know, meeting these needs of having a beautiful city. And so I'm a little uncomfortable with this based on kind of dividing that up if it doesn't meet that code, but if we are okay on city code, then we're okay.
Excuse me.
Sorry, and I did answer that totally wrong. I was thinking of a community plan. This one is not in a community plan. In the commercial developments, we've done this all over the place. So
Okay.
we've done it with Walmart, we've done it with Saratoga Town Center where Walgreens and everything is. So what happens, I'm sorry, my head was a little scrambled. I'm getting some questions while I'm trying to work. We have allowed this in all of our commercial sites that have lot lines broken up like this.
I think a good example of something similar that we might be seeing here is Jacob's Ranch Marketplace. So if you remember that one, just north of Ring Road, that's gonna have a Macy's site on it. And so when Macy's comes forward with their site plan, it'll probably be something similar to what we're seeing with this.
Okay,
And one of the reasons we allow it is we allow them to count the whole commercial site. And in our commercial areas, a lot of times they're along arterial roadways, and then they also need detention ponds. And so those particular sites just along, say, Crossroads Boulevard would have way over the amount. And then the detention basin, kind of a lot of times is its own. It's built as its own thing. It's not necessarily included in one of these lots. It's included as the development. And what happens in commercial is they have something similar to an HOA, but it's a business association, and so then they share in those responsibilities. And so often, this is very common with an internal commercial lot, that they're not gonna meet that landscaping independently, but when you count the entire commercial development, they meet it or exceed it.
okay. That makes so much more sense because I really was looking at this and trying to figure out like how, because this looks like a very normal or typical commercial build out. And so I was like, how is this a thing when it hasn't been for a lot of the other ones? Okay, so this makes more sense for me. Thank you for explaining that. Yeah, sounds great to me. Any other commissioner comment? Okay, all right. Thank you for this application. And once again, I am very excited to have this come. So
Great, thank you.
let's
Appreciate the
get it
opportunity.
done.
Thank you, guys.
All right, I will go ahead and entertain a motion.
I move that the Planning Commission forward a recommendation for approval of the requested site plan for Winco Foods located at 393 West Lake Drive, with the condition that the remaining 11% of the required landscaping be met with future phases and the findings and conditions in the staff report.
Thank you, Commissioner Mann. Do we have a second on that motion?
I'll second that.
Thank you, Commissioner Milden. Any question on the motion? Hearing none, we'll now vote. All in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? And that passes unanimously as well. We'll move to item number 3, McDonald's at Jacob Ranch Marketplace site plan located at 1900 South Redwood Road. Megan, oh my gosh, Megan, I'm sorry. Of McDonald's as applicant and senior planner Austin Roy.
All right, yeah, so Megan couldn't make it tonight, so I forget his name, but he's, yeah, you can introduce yourself.
Jordan Sheets. I'm 260 South, 2275 West Lehigh, Utah.
Excellent.
So he'll be here to help answer any questions from the developer's side. Okay, so this is the site plan. This is in Jacobs Ranch Marketplace. It is just, you know, in the southern part of the city. You can see that location, future location here, just north of that Holiday Oil that's on Redwood Road there. You can see here that they meet most of the codes. There were a couple of items that are shall comply. So one being the off-street parking, which I'll get into that when we get to the site plan, and then the sign regulations. This is just, they've submitted a complete sign package, but it didn't meet our codes, so we provided some comments and feedback on that, but they, again, just like the other application, they'll have to submit a separate sign permit application anyway, so this is the site plan. So the reason why the off-street parking is highlighted as shall comply is so this building is 4,400 square feet, almost 4,500 square feet, but 800 square feet of that is a play place, and so they want to park it for the restaurant area, but not for the play place area. Now, there is a precedence for this being done in our city. So if you go to Crossroads Boulevard, there's actually McDonald's there. And in 2019, they added on a play place onto this. And at the time, they did not require, the city did not require any additional parking for this extra square footage. That play place was 1,027 square feet, so it's actually larger than the play place that you're seeing on the Jacobs Ranch site plan that we're seeing tonight. The site plan, other than that, everything else looks like it meets our code. They have the required amount of parking and landscaping on this site. And you can see the landscape plan here. There is a landscape median next to the drive-through, which is another agenda item tonight. I'll just kind of give you a preview of that. So they're hoping to potentially remove that landscape strip there. They could still meet the 20% landscaping without that, but they want to. The idea is to remove that for functionality. You know, if you're in the drive-through, let's say, you know, you're waiting for your chicken nuggets and someone's already someone's got a Diet Coke, they can just get out of the line and the other person can still be waiting, right? Or also other reasons is snow removal is challenging, having that median there. And it's also potentially, they've highlighted it as potentially a safety hazard. So, well, that's a future item, so I kind of skipped that a little bit. But these are the elevations. These do meet our code. They've added windows onto these elevations as it is highly visible from Redwood Road. So they've added those windows that we've requested to make it attractive from at almost every angle. And I think that's everything I have. If you have any questions?
Is the parking a condition?
So in the recommended motions, we've added that as a
Can we go to
condition.
that slide?
Yeah, I'll show you that. So I've added that in item, condition number 5, parking shall not be required for the play place.
Okay. So as we're discussing this, item number 5 is of point. And then as we discuss this, I do just want to stay on topic for the item that we're discussing here is not the future title change. So go ahead. If the applicant would like to add anything to the presentation tonight, we're happy to hear from you.
I have nothing to add currently. Thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner comment? Commissioner Hill.
Thank you, Austin, and thank you for your being here and being able to answer some of our questions. I had a number of questions, and Austin, you addressed those, but there was a shall comply under the cross-access easement, and we haven't talked about that. And when I'm looking here, I see the entrance, so could you give me some understanding of what that is?
Yeah, that's a great question. So our city code does require cross access and cross connectivity between different properties. So you can see here on this landscape plan, on the right-hand side of the screen, which is the north, there's a future commercial development that's going to go through there. You can see that it is connected. There's a connection there to the McDonald's property. Also, there are connections to the north to the overall Jacobs Ranch Marketplace, little road that runs through there, private road. So the cross-access easement agreement is that basically the vehicles can cross in between these two properties. That's something that's being worked on by the master developer for the Jacobs Ranch Marketplace. I actually have seen a draft of that document. They've submitted for lots 7 and 8, which is also in here, and they have a current application for that right now. So I've seen a copy of that, but that should be one of the conditions of approval for this, is that document is handled by by the master developer. So, but McDonald's doesn't have direct control over that. It's really needs to be done by the master developer of Jacobs Ranch Marketplace.
Can I ask
Sure.
Can you explain that one more time? So
Yeah.
if they have that agreement, would that parking count towards the parking they need? Is that what you're
So it's
saying?
not parking, it's just that you can go
Access.
back and forth in between the two properties with the
Okay.
vehicle, essentially, so.
Yeah, okay.
This means they can't block it off.
Yeah, we've had instances where certain commercial properties are not neighborly to one another, and so they try and block access from one property to the other. This is to try and ensure circulation and that no one can do that.
Yeah, okay, thank you.
Another question I had, we've had a few fast food restaurants recently, and an area of discussion that we've had is the drive-up, and we have 2-lane drive-up. On the copy that I saw, it looked to me that you could stack maybe a total of 10 cars without going out into the parking area. What is the count that you would have that the drive-up could take without going out into the parking spot?
So currently it does show those 10 vehicles stacked, and that is, I believe, per the code, correct? I think we
Yeah.
have to provide at least a certain number of
Yeah,
vehicles.
right. Okay, and I would guess that it's not going to be much different than many of the other McDonald's, especially the one up on Pony Express.
Yeah.
That handles that, and there's a stacking. There's only one, well, it's the same. It can stack 2 and then go down the drive up to pick up your food. So, and then the last thing that I had is there was some discussion about the monument sign, and the location of that, and that shall comply. You guys have worked that out, or is that still waiting to come in with the final?
We're waiting for them, the next sign plan submittal.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm sure that, that's a standard, but I just wanted to make sure that negotiations or we're coming into that comply. So much of this was all comply. There were just a few things. So thank you for the presentation. Thank you, Chair.
Commissioner Other.
Yeah, I just wanted to comment on the play place parking. I think that makes a lot of sense, and I like that. I think that in general, commercial buildings should have adequate parking, but I think sometimes we have more than adequate parking. So I don't know if that's in our code specifically, but because I don't know of any code where it says 0 stalls required per square foot, but I just wanted to comment that I kind of like that. I think it makes a lot of sense.
So I don't like that.
I just don't think that anyone occupying the play space is coming in a vehicle. So I think it's
Well,
justified.
no, because their parents are driving them there in a vehicle, right?
Right, but I think that is accounted for in the building square footage parking requirement.
How far off of the parking are we? What is the requirement if it's built this size?
Well, right now, without the play place, they're right on the money, like exact amount of parking. So for 800 square feet, we would require 8 more, stalls.
So they would need
If
8
that
more
was
stalls.
dining area, right? Like if you were, if we had tables in that area and that was a dining area, then that would be the requirement.
Well, usually the play places do have some dining area in them.
They have those, they might have like
I don't know.
Yeah, very minimal. Yeah, very minimal dining in the play place area.
So I know we had the 2019 add-on of the play place to the OG McDonald's, and I almost feel like Shelley Barch should just be here to explain all of this to everyone so we all understand the original problem with the original McDonald's. Right now, I'll tell you the original McDonald's, the parking and the drive-through there is a nightmare right now. My kid was in a car accident 2 months ago in that parking lot. So right now, the OG McDonald's isn't meeting. It's just a nightmare. So why would we expect this new McDonald's to have a different situation when the OG McDonald's is currently bursting at the seams?
I was just commenting on how, in my opinion, the current, I suppose if there's dining space in it, that is a little different. When I think of it as just being for basically kids or someone who's come in another vehicle, I don't really view it as contributing to more parking. I don't know how to address the kind of, if there's a lot of traffic, I don't know that, that's probably something else. But as far as the play area adding more need for cars, I kind of agree that I think it does not. But
I argue differently that the play place acts as a community gathering spot for young families to meet up and use the play place, and so removing parking because there is a play place seems kind of wild to me when having that indoor playland is going to actually gather more people to come in and be using it. When we're looking at this 2019 building or the OG building, how's the parking compare from this one to the new building?
I haven't counted them off. Do you?
The existing site has 35. What does this one have?
This site has, let's see here, sorry.
37.
37.
Yeah.
So it'd be very similar to what you experienced there.
Okay.
Just based on the numbers. So I do think where there's a different perspective, at least from two of you, that maybe everybody should weigh in, and then you can decide how you want to forward that recommendation, either for or against.
Okay. Yeah, it's kind of open. Jump in.
Sorry.
Oh, you're good. We're all getting through it. Go ahead.
Is there any information that shows the locations with the play places do not generate additional traffic?
I'm not aware of any studies on that.
That's a good question, right?
Yeah, great question.
I think
I can say to the play place and everything like that, I do know, I came in a few years ago and was part of the development of the Home Depot. And that was one where we excluded the garden center from the parking count. Because that was a different usage, it wasn't considered the same. And it's similar to kind of, as Commissioner Rather had mentioned, you know, the play place is a different usage. And to that extent, if you would like to say like more people would come there, then would it comply to a stall per square footage, or would it just be a stall per seat, right? Because you can only account for so many more people in that play place area. So I would say I have seen a precedence within Saratoga where we have excluded a certain area or usage because of the type that it would be.
It's careful bringing that up because I was on the board when that went through, and I do remember a lot of conversation around that Home Depot having some tight restrictions on not using the parking lot for additional storage, which it now is currently doing. So let's be a little cautious on that. Let me ask this question then: how many employees do we anticipate being in this building?
So a typical, how many employees do you typically have?
It's around that 30 mark, 30, 35 mark. Not at one time.
Yeah, what is it at one time, yeah.
So my guess is that the play place does increase the internal customers because they do a high volume. I think you guys told us you're in, I don't know if you know off the top of your head now, but in meeting with Megana, she had mentioned, Megana, is that the right name? She had mentioned the volumes versus drive-through versus internal, and that was the basis of one of behind some of the requests. I don't know if that's in here. Do you recall that?
That it generates additional
So-
customers?
Right, so the majority of McDonald's business is through the drive-through. So I would venture that having a play place does increase internal customers.
Okay. Yeah. About how many staff do we have on per shift?
Yeah, that would be, yeah, at 12.
Okay. And I mean, so at least 10 of these slots are going to be being used by employee parking.
So possibly something to help with this discussion is our code does say when there's a use that is undefined and doesn't have a parking amount designated to it, there's some criteria that we can use, that we can apply. And so A through H here on the screen, these are the criteria that are found in Title 19 that the Planning Commission and City Council can use when considering a potential use that is undefined in our code as far as how much parking is required.
Is there a possibility of getting a shared parking agreement?
I would say probably not. The parking in Jacobs Ranch Marketplace is already tight as it is. Each of the site plans that I've reviewed so far barely meet the requirement.
Okay, so we're already dealing with a very tight parking situation and asking to have less parking than our code currently requires.
Chair,
Go ahead,
can I
Commissioner Melvin.
suggest to consider something is, I'm not 100% sure, this may just be my opinion, that the issue is parking spaces, but just the traffic flow at the other McDonald's, especially on Taco Tuesday. You know, it gets a mess. So if we added 10 more spots, that doesn't mean it's gonna solve a problem. I don't think there's a slot problem there. I think there's plenty of parking, it's just the way it flows.
No, there is a slot problem. Yeah. And McDonald's are frequently used as the location to exchange children, mostly with, DCFS or custody agreements. So the parking, I mean, yeah, I see that really frequently happening. So having those slots missing seems. Go ahead.
Just an observation, as we were looking at the site plan, it reminds me of the McDonald's on Pony Express. And there's not the congestion there, and it has the same layout with 2 lanes and then going to the windows, going around, and the front part, that would be, I guess, the north part, would be the stacking for waiting for orders, and then a much larger over on the left-hand side. So again, the one on Pony Express does not have a play station, but the movement there, and they do a lot of business, but as I looked at this site plan, that's exactly like what we have on Pioneer Express or Pony Express. So I like the layout, and again, I frequent that and never have had near accidents. It's just the line of sight once you come out of there is straight. And so that's my observation. I come back and I say, you know, I don't know what a PlayStation is going to, the addition, as long as we have the required parking stalls, we're fine. I think this is a lot different than what we have over on
Crossroads.
the other one over off of Market Street and going out that way.
But we don't have the required parking stalls for the size of this building.
Well, we do if you don't take the PlayStation into account. Is that correct, Austin?
That's correct, yeah.
But I mean, not that I've ever seen a McDonald's building be sold, but should it be sold, the future tenant wouldn't have the stalls they would need to meet the required space there.
We do a parking evaluation with every tenant improvement permit, so if they didn't need it, they would have to figure that out.
They'd have to go through a change of use permit.
The one that Commissioner Hill is referring to is outside of the city boundaries. It's in Eagle Mountain in front of the Ridleys, and they have 27 parking stalls in front of theirs.
And they don't have a play place.
They do know.
So having that play place really adds to the number of cars parked then.
It could be that, or it could be the location here versus the location there and the amount of traffic. And this is further south, so probably has similar surroundings to the one in Eagle Mountain.
All right, any other comment on it? I think maybe what we need to do is just have kind of a sound off on item 5 there and see where everyone's at before we go forward with a full vote. Does that sound good to everyone? So, do we want to just count off on that? If you are okay with approving with the parking, and we'll just go down the row.
To me, I also want to make a quick comment that it doesn't really account for people who are told to move ahead and park and take up space, because that happens to every McDonald's.
That's right.
Yeah, that doesn't even follow them, like ever. But I'm not for it.
Okay. Commissioner Hill?
I feel comfortable moving forward.
Okay. I'm a no on the parking.
Yeah, I feel comfortable moving forward.
I do as well, comfortable with it.
I'm comfortable with it as well.
Okay. All right. So that lets everyone know where we're at. If someone is ready to make a motion, we'll now entertain a motion.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we need the cheat
Sorry,
sheet.
one second. There we go.
All right.
There we
Chair,
go.
option 1. Chair, I'd like to make a motion, a positive recommendation. I move that the Planning Commission forward a recommendation for approval of the requested site plan for McDonald's Jacob Branch Marketplace located at 1900 South Redwood Road with the findings and conditions in the staff report.
Any, I think Commissioner Wilden, do we have a second on that motion?
I'll second it.
We have a second from Commissioner Hill. Any questions on the motion? right. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed say nay. Nay. Voting nay or, oh, you said aye? Oh, aye, all right,
Nay.
just me.
Do you
Oh,
want to,
nay?
oh, just you, just one nay?
Oh,
There's
both
two.
of us.
Oh,
We got
So
two.
Chris,
Do we need to re-vote? Yep, let's do a roll call count. All right, Commissioner Roman,
Nay.
Commissioner Hill,
aye.
me is nay, Commissioner Milden,
Aye.
and Commissioner Heather,
Aye.
and Commissioner Mann.
Aye.
And so that does pass, but if you have voted nay and would like to make a comment on why you voted that way, you are welcome to do so now. I'll make mine. I just don't agree with the parking and feel that that should not be part of this.
I agree.
All right, and that is it. We'll go ahead and, so that does pass, and we'll go ahead and move to item number 4, approval of minutes. Before we move fully to that item, who would like the cheat sheet? All right. Approval of minutes for April 30th, 2026, and I will entertain a motion.
I move that the Planning Commission approve the minutes of May,
No, nope,
April 30th.
April 30th.
of April 30th, 2026.
Perfect. And do we have a second on that motion?
I'll second that.
Okay, thank you, Commissioner Wilden. And all in favor say aye. Any opposed? All right, and that passes as well. We'll move to public hearing. The commission will accept public comment and may make a recommendation to the city council for the following items. Item number 1, amendment to Title 19 Land Development Code of the City of Saratoga Springs, Chapter 19.09.11, drive-through requirements, removing the drive-through landscape medium requirement. And we have an applicant here. This is citywide developer initiated, Senior Planner Austin Roy.
Okay, thank you, Chair. Yes, this item is initiated by the developer. If this were to be adopted, it would take effect across the whole city. So keep that in mind. The proposed code amendment that they're asking for is to remove this line from 1909-11, which says a 3-foot wide raised median or planter shall be required between the drive-through aisle and the parking area. You can see this is an example from the McDonald's site plan that we just looked at. That's the landscape or median that's being talked about. So our code requires this. It's 3 feet wide. It separates the parking area from the drive-through. On this side, it looks like there would be a number of cars that would be inside that area. The applicant has submitted a letter, and in their letter, they've stated 3 main reasons why they would like to remove this. The first being that it prevents the efficient circulation of vehicles, and it would improve the drive-through functionality. Number 2, it creates a potential safety hazard. And number 3, then it makes snow removal more difficult. So that's the proposal tonight. This is a public hearing item, so I guess we could do the public hearing, and then if we could do the questions after that, or I'm not sure how you want to do that, Chair.
Okay. We usually let the applicant add anything that they want to add and then do the public hearing. We'll go ahead and open for public hearing though, because I have a guess on it. Seeing no public comment, we will close public comment. And if does the applicant have anything they'd like to add for this one?
No, Commissioner, only that from the report was of the tripping hazard and the other items that allow the efficiency and snow removal for the drive-through.
Okay. All right, and we'll go ahead and open for commissioner comment. Commissioner Milden?
Yeah, just curious what other cities require. Any background there that would help us understand why do we
Yeah.
have it versus
I mean, we
other
kind of
cities?
looked at some other city. There's a lot of cities that just don't have this. I was looking at drive-throughs as I was preparing for this item, and every time I'd go by a drive-through, I didn't really notice there was a landscaping median there. So
You eat out a lot or something?
I do eat out a lot, actually, probably too much. My cholesterol would probably agree with that.
So you see it's not very, it's.
I don't see it as a very common thing, no.
So what was the reason, any idea, any guess of why we require it?
I wasn't here with the city. Do you know the original intent behind that code? Sarah?
I don't know if I should say, no, I'm just kidding. It was at a request of some former council members. They thought that kept, helped with traffic safety. So, and they thought it helped with, like if there is a car and they need to leave, they thought it was more safe to have them wait than to let them leave. So it's difference in perspective. I think that, all perspectives are valid. I mean, it was put in the code a long time ago. So, I was here, but I've been here a long time. So I don't, from a planning perspective, I appreciate what they're saying. If you're in one of those and you can't get out, that can be really frustrating, Say you're in that and, I don't know, sometimes for whatever reason, you might be in line for 20 minutes and you might need to leave. So I have a different personal opinion than what's been in our code, but that's again, just, we all have different perspectives. What their request is and the information behind their request is it offers the, somebody the ability to leave. Like if they get their Coke at the first window and the person in front of them is waiting, for 3 meals, then the person with the shorter order can leave. So I think, and I think it's subjective what's safer and what's not safer, because yes, you do have somebody leaving the lane, or you have potential safety issues of somebody in the lane and the tripping hazard. So it really could go either way.
Okay, so it sounds like staff doesn't really have a preference here.
I mean, my preference is not to have it.
Oh, okay.
But that's my opinion, and I am not the decision maker.
So how often do you wish it wasn't there? I'm kidding.
Well, so that's your personal preference and opinion on it. As city staff, like speaking on the city staff side, is there something that we see, or do y'all deal with this, and is this a problem with other applicants?
A lot of our drive-through lanes, just by default, you can't get out because they're next to landscaping. This one in particular, you're next to a parking area. So really, we do have this situation in the city already. Just for example, Wendy's has landscaping on the side of their drive-through lane rather than a parking area. But then Taco Bell, if we didn't have this in the code, you could probably get out. So it just kind of, I don't know. It was really the preference of a former council, and that's why it's in here. Things evolve, things change. I think from a planning staff perspective, it's really not our decision.
Right.
I'd say one thing maybe to consider is the nature of drive-throughs have changed since COVID. This code was written before COVID. I think drive-throughs are a lot more popular now than they were prior to 2020. So that, for what that's worth, I do think it's a functionality that you see in more restaurants. And for example, almost every single restaurant that we've had come through has had a drive-through in like almost every site plan you guys have seen in the last few years.
Just a comment, and again, this is Eagle Mountain, but that's the one I go to, the McDonald's. They do not have the curbing, and there are many times that the order isn't ready, so they go to that second window, and the way this looks is you could not go out and go around, and that could add up to 5 minutes, because sometimes those are the bigger orders that are on that second window, and you're just, it would really chew up efficiency.
So it sounds like, Commissioner Hill, that you're just getting the Coke and leaving.
No, I use the app, and so it goes much faster if you use the app, okay?
Okay.
So
Okay.
I will add the 3 closest McDonald's, including the one that's already existing. So the one that's already existing went in before this was put in the code. The closest one in Lehigh and the closest one in Eagle Mountain do not have this landscape median. I think when a city doesn't require it, they don't put it in.
Other commissioner comment? All right. I'm against this. I know it sounds so negative today. I want you to know I'd get at least 2 hot fudge sundaes once a week from McDonald's because y'all don't make them big enough to just get one. So it's not that I don't have love, but I do think that having the median there, especially if we're going to have less parking, it adds a level of controllability to the parking area and the driving area that makes me just naturally feel more comfortable, but that might be because I'm a little bit controlling. I like having it there. I was at the Iceberg drive-through just a couple of nights ago, and they were running really, really slow. It took like over 20 minutes to get our order, and someone behind us did get really frustrated, and they left, and there wasn't enough room for them to fully leave, and we moved our car forward a little so they could leave. But they were driving a little bit erratically because they were frustrated that their order wasn't going through because their blood sugar is probably a little low. And so I see that. I see both sides of it. I can see the potential safety hazards. I can see the snow removal, that we haven't had a lot of snow lately. I'm actually for leaving it there. I think that having a level of controllability in areas with people who are, erratic just makes things a little bit safer. So my preference is to stay with more control. So any other commissioner comment? If not, we'll go ahead and entertain a motion.
Me.
Go ahead.
Okay.
Please.
I'm for taking it out because I've seen cars break down and literally everyone gets stuck.
Oh,
But I also see what your point, because if someone jets out from the line of traffic into the parking lot, that's also problematic. But I think that allowing freedom is a better option.
I mean, if someone breaks down, it is going to inconvenience a lot of things, but people can back up, right?
Not if there's a line,
There's a
though.
line, people, Utah, no. It doesn't come back.
Okay.
So I am against hot fudge sundaes, and so I would like to, I don't think there's a need to have it. It doesn't make sense. It actually could impede in the flow of traffic. We're trying to help traffic flow better, and so I don't see a need to require it. I can see the problem with snow removal, and so if we can't explain why we have it with clarity, then we probably ought to go with not having it.
All right, that's a really good point. All right, I'll entertain a motion. And did you want to add to
I
it?
was just going to add to it.
Go ahead.
Just from personal experience, I do have a heavy personal bias on this, but I was stuck in a drive-through lane one time, and I had a family emergency at home that was like really critical. It wasn't a median in the center that was preventing me from being able to leave. It was landscaping, but I was panicked for like 20 minutes, and it just, I think I have some trauma there from that, so I have to be against this.
Okay, that's fair. All right, I'll entertain a motion on this.
Austin, do you want to bring the motion up?
Yes.
Yeah, Austin, we can't do
Thank you.
it if you don't have that.
If we're staring at you, there's a reason.
So just for clarity, whoever makes a motion, if they're in favor of this, they're in favor of getting rid of it. Is that right?
That's correct,
Yes.
yeah. The positive recommendation would be to remove the median.
Great. As long as we're not getting rid of the play center, we're good.
Shelley Barch will
I'll
get you.
I'll go ahead, Chair. I move that the Planning Commission forward a recommendation for approval of the proposed code amendments to Chapter 19.9 with the findings and conditions in the staff report.
All right, thank you, Commissioner Hill. Do we have a second on that motion?
Second.
We have a second from Commissioner Roman. Any
Sorry.
questions on the motion? Hearing none, we'll now vote. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say nay. Nay. And that passes, that passes, and I just like to be controlling, so. Great. We will move on to reports. We have commissioner comments tonight. Any commissioner comments tonight? Okay, hearing none, can we get the director's report?
Yes. All right, your next meeting, will be May 28th. The council meeting on May 5th, they passed several items. So there was the code amendment request to change the maximum building size in the neighborhood commercial zone. The commission had recommended a negative opinion there, and that was denied. The Redwood Sports site plan was approved. The Beacon Point Village plan was approved. The code amendment to grading was approved. The Hub Lot 5 site plan was approved, and Ryder Station was approved. And then your next meeting is the 28th. We have one item. If that doesn't change, then hopefully that can be a quick meeting. And then we are going to have a change in commission coming up. So your absent commissioner Colton has taken another job and is moving. So, but you will see him on the 28th, I believe. He'll be able to come then. And June 11th is tentative. We do have splash days that week. If we end up having items, we could still possibly hold the meeting. If we don't hold that meeting, then the 28th would be Commissioner Miles' last meeting. And then, sorry guys, I think we let Katie off the hook a little too easy. So I said her name and everything, but I think she needs to be on the spot a little more than that. So I kind of wanted her to say more about herself.
Thank you, Sarah. Well, I'm Katie Olson. I am the new Assistant City Manager. Owen's not going anywhere, so don't worry about that. We'll just be working together. I will be overseeing our planning division as well as code enforcement, and I'm just happy to be serving you guys. My background and my MPA is from BYU. I most recently worked for South Jordan City for 8 years. I love this world. Local government is definitely my passion. So please feel free to reach out to me if you need me, and I'm here. Thanks.
Great, thank you. And really welcome. I do feel like the city staff that we have here really makes it easy for us to do our job because we have great city staff that put in a lot of great work. So welcome. All right. Do we need to do a closed session? No. All right. We will go ahead and adjourn this meeting.
We'll be in touch. I'll get in touch with you on Monday if that's okay.
Yeah, yeah, yep, sounds
Take care,
good.
guys.
I think Joanna will be for city council next week. Because I know she's.
Oh, Joanne will be.
She hasn't said anything back to me.
I mean, she's been out.
I'm already getting replaced.
Probably.
No, she was up at, high elevation needing oxygen.
Where's she at?
Did she go solo?
She was solo on one trip. I can't remember which one it was. I remember one of the jobs solo.
I mean, I hunt deer, elk, everything in the middle of the Wind Rivers and, grizzly bears, and I go solo quite a bit, but I don't know if I could do a sustained amount of time.
Yeah.
I mean, I have all my safety stuff, right, like in reach and everything else, but like, my kids are like, Dad, you're 50 now, you probably shouldn't be climbing up to 11,000 feet hunting and staying back there. And I'm like, that's what I love to do.
Yeah. You should have it, right?
Good deal.
Yeah, I'm going to Peru myself in just a few weeks, so.
Okay.
But probably not as adventurous as Joanne. But I will be at, I mean, the altitude there is.
Thank you very much. Take care.
Yeah, my son lived in Santiago, Chile for a while, and he's 6'6", and
Yeah.
he's just like, Dad, he didn't get to go